Everyone knows that the UK voted to leave the European Union in a national referendum on June 23, 2016. And that allowed over 70% of the near 46 million eligible voters in the UK to have their say. However, the UK population is over 65 million, meaning nearly 20 million people did not have a voice, either through ignorance, complete apathy, or age. On the 19th of March 2018, 23 students too young to vote in the referendum went to the European Parliament in Strasbourg for an event that brought 540 college-age students from all 28 member states together in a debate. They worked alongside students from every corner of the European Union to discuss and vote on topics such as security, human rights, and cultural preservation. This event is called Euroscola and provided to be a real eye-opener on the little amount of differences that the European people shared. Here's what these European students, UK voters, and an EU official had to say.
Definitely, I think there's still a lot to be set.
I think so, simply because there is no plan, really.
I feel like it's such a massive part of our economy.
The way that the negotiations are going, come on Theresa May, pick it up, hon.
I was worried about the financial situation because of the hub that we have in London.
To be frank, I can't really imagine how the EU will look after Britain has actually left.
It's always been a part of it, and now I feel something will be missing.
I think it's a bit shame to a country that has a big part to just stand up and leave.
If a member of us with our family go, we are sad.
I don't really have an opinion on British sovereignty because I don't really see the point in it anymore.
I think it's important that we can make our own laws as a sovereign country.
The whole idea of sovereignty really annoys me. Being in the EU, you actually have more sovereignty anyway because you get to work with other countries and you have pooled sovereignty.
I didn't really take notice until the kind of referendum came up.
In our main national newspaper and on the internet, on websites different, I think we even had a few spokespeople from Britain come talk to us and explain some things.
It was in the news, in the internet, ads in YouTube, ads in Facebook.
The media in the UK is overwhelmingly biased in favour of being in the EU. And it's interesting that that didn't necessarily have the impact that I thought it would have had. It surprised me in a way that actually the voters disregarded ultimately what the media was feeding the voters.
Economically, we'll find some settlement, it won't be the end of the world for business and all that. Emotionally, in terms of what it means to be have Britain in the family, be part of the family with Britain and with the idea, with everything what Britain stands for. I think this is really like when some member of your family dies or goes away or breaks up. It's this kind of feeling.
Belgian people are really affected about the departure of Britain.
Necessarily directly, we won't change our trade deals with you. Probably when Europe has to reorganize itself, it will affect us definitely.
I think I do, because this decision will form such a big part of our lives.
It's the biggest decision this country has taken since the Second World War.
Yeah, definitely. Especially me, I'm a language student, so in the future I want to study languages and it might affect the opportunities I have abroad.
Definitely, yeah. I think it's really quite unfair that we're the generation that are going to be affected the most. So much. It's so annoying. All these old people voting and changing my future without me having any say is so unfair.
Protesting, probably.
Yeah, well, I would feel bad, I would feel cheated as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I've got children.
I thought about the younger generation.
Yes, I think I voted for what I thought was going to be the best outcome for the country as a whole.
I think that helped me a lot with my confidence about politics because I felt like I could just answer the questions.
It's given us a lot more like inspiration and a lot more awareness about what the EU do.
Definitely, I do agree how the Parliament, it doesn't necessarily work in the same structure as our Parliament because of the language barrier, but I'm not sure if there's a way to reform that because I think that's the importance of it because of the culture.
Definitely. Also listening to the Vice President's speech, I thought that although I don't agree with like a United States of Europe at all, her points about it's better to be inside the EU trying to fix the problems than just leaving. I feel like quitting isn't something that the Brits should be known for.
Many people ask me, well, could Britain come back to the EU? And the answer is obviously yes. All this is possible, but it takes an honest political process. And I think this is where we have problems in many, many countries, that we don't talk about real issues in a sober, subject-focused way anymore, but that we run after people who promise us to make things great again, or promise us things which are quite unreal, but they sell them very well. Strong leaders making. The problem is that in Europe, and this is the historian me speaking, we tend to forget very, very fast, which is a pity. That because if you go to the United States and you speak to an American, and an American will tell you, "Oh, that's history," that means yes. Well, to them it doesn't matter. They look forward. That's history, old stuff. Let's not waste time with it. In Europe, when we say that's history, it means, hey, listen up. This is important. There's a lesson to be learned because we don't want to go back to somewhere where we've been before. And I think in Europe, we know that a lot of people have given their lives for us to be able to live like we do. And the least thing we should do, we should remember them and say somehow thank you, because we owe them a lot.